I would say that it's always been there on the in people's minds, because after all, the origin of this whole process was the whole issue of governance, and it was added as a separate issue because it did come up in Athens in different guises. So the thought was, if it is going to come up, why not have it as an issue? And there was a feeling, yes, maybe the time has come to start talking about this. In fact, to even understand what are critical internet resources. Is it the domain name system? Is it the address space? Is it the root server system? Is it the way the protocols are developed? So even to understand what are critical internet resources itself would be an interesting conversation. I hope it's interesting. It's not yet taken place, but that was the reason why. The reason it's important to talk about is because the internet is expanding very fast. It started as something which was done by a group of researchers, computer specialists, and even within research establishments, people other than these computer specialists had no understanding of what was going on. And slowly that understanding spread. And as long as it was essentially a tool which was connecting research institutions together, this process where scientists worked out a protocol of exchange, etc. worked. The internet today is very different from that old ARPANET. First, it's spreading in the developing countries. Right now, most of the billion users are in the developed countries, but the growth is much faster in the developing world. And it's going to become even more so with the way in which mobile telephony is connecting with the internet. Second, what is it used for in developing countries? It's not so much media or commerce. It's used for public service applications, something which is much closer to the concerns of governments. For instance, in this country, Brazil, they collect a large proportion of their taxes to the internet. So their concerns in what role do I have in ensuring the stability of the internet in Brazil? That's the second big change. Third big change that is coming about is the growth of commercial interests. The old internet was an internet where ponytail chaps from California developed innovative ideas which spread. The innovation was at the margin. Today, you and I, a lot of the stuff we use on the net is proprietary technology. A lot of stuff we use for streaming video or things like this is proprietary technology. It's becoming a big business. What is the implication of that? Web 2, that an internet which was very top-down is becoming an internet which is connecting people with each other, which is what you're getting in Web 2, in YouTube, in MySpace, in Facebook, and so on. So these are the changes. And the internet of today is a world which is completely different from your internet of ARPANET, which was simply a lot of computer boffins connecting with one another. And that's the reason why. It's not so much about the past. It's not unhappiness with the past. It's really trying to address, do we have a system which will work for the internet which will be there 5 years from now? And how flexible is it? Is it able to respond to the... But who would have thought 5 years ago that today's issue would be Web 2 and user-defined content? That's not what we were talking about 5 years ago. In the dot-com boom, 7 years ago, in the dot-com boom. Today, whatever we're talking, the major issue, the big issue, is user-defined content. And what are the implications of this for intellectual property, for copyright, for the liability of ISPs, etc. First, I'm not at all sure that it is practical or feasible to contain free expression. So I'm not even sure that how well this could work, because the nature of the medium is such that there's no central control. It's like passing a note in your classroom. You must have done it as a student. You want to pass a note to somebody out there. You write note, write that person's name. You pass it to the person next door, and it goes on to that person. There's no central agency. I can't catch that note anywhere, as long as each person does his duty or her duty of passing on the note. and doesn't stop and read it in the middle, which is what happens with hackers and so on. So it's basically a bit like that. It's not something that you can really control in some sense. It's not like a telephone system which is hierarchy, where I can monitor everything here at the top. It's something which is it was designed to survive a nuclear attack. If it was designed to survive a nuclear attack, it can survive censorship.